What's going on? My name is Alex with Portland Event Films, and today I'm going to discuss what cameras we use for live streaming and where each of these cameras fit into our production coming up next. Hey, what's going on? My name is Alex with Portland Event Films. We are an event production company and live streaming company as well. And so these are the line of cameras that we use. We have a couple other ones that we use for different stuff. And I wanted to talk about what is the best camera for live streaming. So I have the A7 III, and this is what we started live streaming on. It's a really great camera. Then we got, which I'm recording on now, which is the A7S III. We'll use that for live streaming. Then we also have the FX6. I just started live streaming on this. Absolutely love this camera. And then we picked up last the Panasonic UX90. And this is the camera that I'm going to focus on because right now this is my favorite camera to use. And I think it's the best tool for the job. And I'll explain here why in a second. So the first camera that I picked up that I started using was the A7 III. So this is about a $2,000 camera. This has a focal length. This is the GM 70-200, which is about a $2,500 lens. I think I got it used for like $2,100. So we're looking about $4,000 for this setup here. Now, the two biggest cons of this is the battery life. It's pretty good, but it's not live streaming good. Where we're doing a live streaming event for anywhere from 30 minutes to 3 hours long, and we're gonna have to swap out many different batteries unless we use V-mount batteries. I do that quite a bit, but it's just not a good camera for live streaming. It is a great camera, but I just think for live streaming, it's the wrong tool for the job. And that's why I started looking at some of these more professional production line of cameras for live streaming that covers it. Now, I've done a couple of these events where we're doing it for over an hour. We're doing a funeral service inside, and about an hour into it, the camera shut off and it overheated. Now, we weren't recording to the camera, just the camera was on going into the A7 Mini Pro, and then after about an hour and 20 minutes, it turned off because it overheated. We have the heat level set to high. Now, as soon as I switched out the battery in about 5 minutes, turned it back on, and everything was good. But this was inside in good conditions. This wasn't outside in a hot element. So for me, it's a great camera. The image looks amazing. But it's just, I feel it's the wrong tool for the job. And like I said, this is like a $4,000 option. So this is definitely a very nice camera for the job. There are two things that I was looking for in a camera. I needed an ND filter, so when I'm outside, I can adjust. I don't have to keep screwing on multiple NDs in it. And it needed to be able to take a mic input and also have phantom power. And so that's why I have this one. Now, I use this for my production company, but yes, I can use this for my live streaming. And nothing compares to the Cinetone picture profile in here. This, out of all my cameras, is going to give me the best Kodak and the best image coming out of it. It's really overkill for live streaming. You're looking at a $6,000 camera, and then you're also looking at this one lens, which is the focal length of 50 mil, and that's it, is about $2,400. So getting a camera and a zoom, you're easily over 10 grand. Getting something that can zoom from 24 to like at least a 200 in full frame. Not many lenses that I know of that can do that on this level. So great production camera, great for corporate commercials. Live streaming, it's not what I would go to. Then I started using the A7S III, which what I'm recording on now, and that is a beautiful camera, but it's in the same boat of this. Is really expensive. It does not overheat, but it doesn't have the audio feature. So like this camera here, I use phantom power microphones. I can't go directly into the microphone. If I use a condenser microphone, then I can go in here, not a problem, and I can get audio. But when it comes to using a phantom power microphone, so like what I'm recording in here, if you guys can see this, this is the Rode NTG3. I can't run this camera. I can't run the Rode NTG3 into my Sony A7S III because I need phantom power. I need to have something like this. And let me explain why I settled on this bad boy. I started with the Sony, I think it's the UA11, 15, and then I got the 45. But then I ended up on this camera, and there's a couple reasons why I went with this camera. One, I wanted something that had a fixed lens on here. I needed something with a focal range of somewhere between 25 and about 300. That's what I needed. And so this camera took this on. Then I also have option for ND filters. I just, with a click, I can give the ND filters. Does this camera have the same quality as this? No. But for live streaming, weddings, corporate events, this has good enough colors to get me by. Not only that, but on the black side, we have the inputs for the mic, so then I can run 2 microphones in here. I can both use phantom power. I can control them individually. I can also mount my Live View Solo on here and go directly from the camera, bring in the microphones, and stream directly to YouTube. So doing all of our events, I have 3 of these now, and I think this is one of the best cameras when it comes to live streaming, because this is like, I think I picked this up for like 1,700 bucks. So I can get 5 of these for the price of one of these. There's a way better camera, but I just feel it's the wrong tool for the job. So that's why I went and picked up one of these. It is a 4K camera, but you know, we're only sending out a 1080p signal, and then we're streaming to YouTube in 720p. The cameras are going into our A10 Mini, and then we're actually recording the file directly on the A10 Mini. We don't ever record in camera. So the good part about this camera is I only have the original battery that goes in here, but then we have V-mount batteries tapped in here, and this is enough battery juice to get us by for a complete show. I mean, I do a 2-3 hour show and I still have, you know, 3 battery lights left. It's at like 75%. So this is a more than enough power for the day. And so if I was suggesting a church, somebody that's either doing funerals, live streaming, their church every Saturday, this is one of the cameras that I would suggest. Low light is not the best, but I think that it's good enough, and it's a nice clean image. And I think this is a great cost-effective all-in-one solution when you need some power zoom. You want to be able to use these adapter rings, one to focus, one for the iris, and then one for finer zooming controls. So I definitely recommend this camera when it comes to getting a live streaming camera that is right for the job. When you're looking at something that you don't have to take the lenses on and off for, it needs to be a good battery solution. It needs to have mic inputs with phantom power. So this is the camera that I recommend getting for live streaming. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you guys have any more questions, please leave them in the comments below. Thank you guys.